Good afternoon and welcome to the regular meeting of the City of Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. Roll call, please.
Chair Burns.
Present.
Vice Chair Kajoyan.
Present.
Ex officio Kim.
Present.
Commissioner Lambola.
Present.
Commissioner Magrin.
Present.
Commissioner Perrion. And ex officio Serrano.
Present.
Thank you, Ms. Powers. Next item, please.
At 1A is a flag salute led by Chair Burns.
Yes. Please stand. Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Would you please read the report regarding the posting of the agenda?
Yes. At 1B is a report regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for the August 8th, 2016 meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside of City Hall on or before August 5th, 2016.
Thank you.
And next we have under 2, introductions and presentations. A is introduction of new Commissioner Eileen Magrin.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Would you like to tell the millions of people that are watching a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about myself, yeah.
Sure.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here and be part of this amazing commission. My name is Eileen, and I reside in Glendale. I've lived in Glendale since 1993. I went to school. I went to GCC before I transferred to UCLA. I'm an educator of 14, 15 years now. I finished my counseling program, did my internship in Glendale. I do love this city, and I love giving back to my community. I was a school counselor for 8 years in Monrovia High School, and then returned back home, which Glendale is my home. I worked for CV as a psychologist for 2 years. Then I returned to the district office as an administrator, and this is my 4th year as an administrator. One of my main functions are mental health. So I have a lot of therapists that are working within our department and serve our community and our students that are in need. And also foster and homeless students is another passion of mine, to give back to my community and reach out. And we do A through Z. We start with food. We have bus tokens. We have it all. Tutoring. We want to make sure that we have a student that's prepared to do well in this community and is successful in the future. And also one of my biggest functions is attendance. So we understand if students are not attending, there's an issue at home or at school. So I'm in charge of all of attendance for GUSD. So, yeah. And also, currently, I just finished my first year. I'm an adjunct professor at University of La Verne. So I graduated from La Verne with my counseling and psychology degree. So I love giving back to my students and just day-to-day activities that we do. I think that it's nice for them to learn from us. So I'm passionate about giving back. That's what I love to do. And I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, please.
At B is a presentation by Bernadette Lim, co-founder of Women Speak. But unfortunately, Ms. Lim sent a note early this morning informing staff that her flight was delayed. There's been weather problems causing delays along the East Coast, and she's unable to make it to tonight's meetings, and she sends her apologies and looks forward to making a presentation to the Commission in the future. And at 3 is oral comment. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The Commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or discussion. Staff may refer the matter to the proper department for investigation and report.
We have 3 speakers, and the first speaker will be Lynn Foster, and she's coming representing the Women's Civic League as president.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you, Glendale Commission on the Status of Women, for giving me this opportunity to introduce to those of you who aren't already familiar with it, another great Glendale group, the Women's Civic League of Glendale. I'm the president this year, and I'm hoping to get members of this commission interested in the Civic League too. So here's a quote for you. An enlightened citizenry is indispensable for the proper functioning of a republic. Self-government is not possible unless the citizens are educated sufficiently to enable them to exercise oversight. Thomas Jefferson said that, and I believe that too. So it breaks my heart from time to time when I see on television random interviews of people on the street who can't identify the Vice President of the United States or name the 3 branches of the U.S. government. Just as important in our daily lives as the President and Congress are the people who run the cities where we live. They determine what we spend for water and electricity. They're responsible for the public education of our children. They maintain streets, street lights, traffic patterns, parks, and libraries. They decide on zoning and exceptions to zoning. They ultimately determine how our neighborhoods look, and they're responsible for the quality of our police and firefighters. I may be jaded by the TV examples of people's ignorance of our nation's leaders and government, but I'd be willing to bet that if you ask most 20 to 30-year-olds in Glendale to name the mayor and 3 of the 5 city council members, one of whom is the mayor, they'd be found wanting. So, guess who can name them all? The members of the Women's Civic League of Glendale. Founded in 1946, the Civic League is about to celebrate its 70th birthday, September. It was founded by a group of 50 women who were active in the community at the time. And the name Women's Civic League is simply a holdover of respect for the founders. Like the League of Women Voters, both men and women are welcome to join the Civic League, the Women's Civic League. The purpose of the League is the study and consideration of civic, economic, and legislative questions. To this day, our members strive to advance nonpartisan awareness of civic affairs. There is no fundraising involved, no positions taken on ballot measures, and no candidates are sponsored or endorsed. We hold monthly luncheon meetings and invite leaders on local, state, and national levels to speak on current topics. Recent speakers have included Carol Liu and Congressman Adam Schiff. Many of Glendale's top officials have spoken at our luncheons over the last 2 years, including Deputy City Manager Yasmin Beers, who is a member, Treasurer Rafi Manukian, Fire Chief Greg Fish, and Police Chief Robert Castro. Councilmember Laura Friedman and Mayor Paula Devine are regularly attending active members. Linda Burns, your chair, is also a very active member, no surprise, and a past president. In a year when a local election is taking place, the Civic League invites those running for city council and the school district and community college district boards to participate in our forums, arguably the best in the city. I think you agree. Current annual dues are only $20 and lunches are only $18. Members get a postcard each month telling who the speaker will be and the topic they'll address. You can come to every luncheon or only to those you're most interested in. It's a chance to meet new people, all of whom are interested in our community, and to network, as well as to make sure that you are part of an informed electorate or enlightened citizenry, as Jefferson put it. We're hoping to enlarge our membership and to pass along to as many new people as possible information about our city and current issues, so that if one day there are random interviews of people walking around Glendale, viewers will be pleasantly surprised, perhaps even shocked at how much we all know. So, if anyone is interested in joining or know someone who might be interested, please call me at the number up there. It's 818-552-5175, or email me at lynn@w6fp.com and indicate the topic as the Women's Civic League. Thank you so much, and I hope to hear from many of you. Thank you. Oh,
Better put this on and say it again.
I'll come back.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions for Lynn?
We'll see you all at the next meeting.
When is the next meeting?
The next meeting is September, the 4th Thursday in September. I forget the exact date.
Is it always the 4th?
Yes. Except we do not meet in June, July, and August, and not in November unless it's a special thing. We might have Adam Schiff back this year, possibly in November.
Thank you so much,
Are
Lynn.
the meetings always at lunchtime?
Yeah, they start, there's a short business meeting at 11:30, and then lunch is around noon, and the speakers probably around 12:15 start.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome, thanks.
The second speaker is Gabriel. Oh, Gabriel, I always have a terrible time with your last name. So
Reollo Pasos.
Oh.
Just say Pasos.
Pasos. All right. Gabriel is representing the Guild Opera. And before you begin, we need to say hello to Fran Benedict and wish her hot and cold and get better, Fran. And now go ahead, Gabriel.
That's correct, because I'm here to speak about Guild Opera Company, which is an arts education for children. And Fran Benedict has been the chair of this organization for so many years that every time I see her, I tell her, Fran, you are Guild Opera Company. And it is a very important organization. And our mission is to bring the unamplified voice to the children, to audiences young and otherwise. And our mission is to introduce opera to young audiences and otherwise by producing and presenting age-appropriate and culturally significant operas performed by professional artists in school and community settings. And Guild Opera Company is the second oldest opera company in the state of California after the San Francisco Opera. Isn't that amazing? And Guild Opera Company has been around since 1949. We have introduced over 4 million children to live performances of opera and the vocal arts. It is very important for our organization to introduce the children to a voice that is not on a microphone, because children know about that, but they don't hear "Te quiero, morena," a voice like that, that is not with a microphone. That is part of our mission. And as such, we go to schools all over the Southland, even though we are based here in Glendale, not just Glendale, but wherever we are asked to come and participate, we go to that school. We have performed in many schools here in Glendale and many, many other schools in all throughout the LA school district and other districts as well. We bring 5 shows to the schools that are written especially for children. Our shows last from about 35 to 45 minutes, and we currently have 5 shows. They are Alice in Wonderland. It's a really great show, and it was written by one of our board members and a very internationally known composer, Robert Charles, who sits on our board. We have a show that features the spirituals, 13 spirituals. It's called Wade in the Water. It's really a beautiful, wonderful show. And not incidentally, all our shows not only are very beautiful and very fun, but they also are very instructive in a very sneaky way, because they're so much fun that the children don't really realize that what they are learning. We have a bilingual show. It's called Estrella, and it introduces the children to the music of Spain, which is called zarzuela, and also has a couple of surprise songs in there that all children know, and they get to participate. Our 4th show is called Little Red Riding Hood, and it's the tale of a Little Red Riding Hood, and it's a really wonderful show, very fun, and everything rhymes in it. And in our version, the wolf gets defeated because he is not a vegetarian, and all the food and all the food that Grandma is going to get on that day is vegetarian, and that's how the wolf gets defeated in ours. And our fifth show is based on the history of California, and it's called The Treasure of California, and it introduces the children to the beautiful music of Puccini. Did you know that he wrote an opera based right here in California? Yes, it's called The Girl of the Golden West. In Italian, it's called La Fanciulla del West. And it features the discovery, strike of gold in California, and that is what our opera is about. We, besides bringing shows to the schools, we also believe very strongly in reaching out to the communities. For example, this past season, we performed the Magic Flute, one performance we did here in Glendale at a local church. And we do that 2 or 3 times a year. We invite everyone to come and see our performances and to also contact us, because we are always looking for board members and also for contributors, because we very often do not charge the schools to come to them, because, as you know, schools don't have a lot of money these days for the arts. And I know I ran out of time, but I would like to invite you all and the audience to come to our next performance, which will be here in Glendale at Vallejo Drive Seventh-day Adventist Church in the chapel. And our show is inspired by the amazing work of Shakespeare, and it features some works written by very, very famous composers. We also will feature an actor and 2 young actors performing a scene from one of Shakespeare's plays. Thank you so much. I am so grateful to the Glendale Commission on the Status of Women for having me here and having Guild Opera Company. And I would like to thank each and every one of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to say thank you very much. This is very good, informative information.
Thank you.
I think I will bring my granddaughter, and come to that show.
Wonderful. And that is going to be on Sunday, September 25th at 4 p.m. in the chapel at Vallejo Drive, Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to say thank you for coming. Thank you for the performance, which was lovely. And do you have a website?
Yes. Our website is www.guildopera.org.
Okay.
And we can also be contacted through email, which is guildoperacompany@gmail.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also wanted to thank you for your services. I think it's amazing to give back. And also, when I heard free, I got excited because I work for the district, and I know it's really difficult to get activities and things in for the students. Question that I had, do you have anything scheduled for our schools this year?
This is our hiatus right now. Schools usually will start to contact us when they come back in late August, now in September.
Okay, so
Yes.
Today was the first day of instruction, so I will definitely pass this on to our leaders and our principals and see who has interest.
Thank you so much.
Excited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. That was terrific. You don't want to let them know that you sang at the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast many times.
That's right.
And every one of the operas that I've been to have been absolutely mesmerizing. Lots of fun, truly. And what was I supposed to learn?
Correct.
It was terrific.
Thank you.
And it continues to be. Thank you. The third speaker is Elise Calfian. Elise is coming to us representing Friends of the Library.
Yes. Hello, Commissioner Burns and all the commission and the city staff. My name is Elise Calfian. I am the president of the Friends of the Glendale Public Library, and I'm here to update you on the status of our organization and also to thank you for the report which you recently commissioned and distributed. The Friends of the Glendale Public Library is a nonprofit 501c3 all-volunteer organization that supports and promotes the Glendale library system. We support purchases, programs, and services with funds we raise from donated book sales, and we promote the library as a vital civic resource. Our goal is to make sure that the library system benefits as many people as possible in our community, including, of course, women and girls. The library system in Glendale includes Central Library, Brand Library and Art Center, and 6 neighborhood branch libraries. A status report the library produced for its past fiscal year tallied more than 734,000 visits, more than 82,000 reference librarian questions, more than 1.3 materials circulated. About 423,000 of those were for children. And there were 2,592 total children's programs with 53,800 children participating. Including virtual visits and internet visits, we had more than 766,000 virtual visits and 115,000 visits to computers at the library, and that's people who don't necessarily have access to a computer themselves can come and gain access there at the library. So what is our current status? We are in full renovation mode. The library, Central Library's $15 million renovation, which began in late 2015 and will be completed in early 2017, has sort of disrupted our own operations, and we're continuing our work during this period. We're renovating our image. We just completed work with a Glendale woman-owned graphic design business to update our logo. We'll be creating a permanent presence with new signage across from the Central Library auditorium, which will advertise our donated book sales, our membership program, and our special donor Tree of Friends. We're relocating our bookstore at the Central Library and restocking our inventory. We had to sell about 10,000 donated books because we lost all of our storage space after the renovation started at Central Library. So we're now restocking our inventory, and we welcome donations, especially of high-quality books. Anyone watching, and all of you, take note. If you have books that you'd like to donate, please contact us. info@fogpl.org. I don't have a slide, but that's the email address, and you can also get the information at any branch library. We may ask you to hold on to them for another 2 to 3 weeks because we haven't quite got full access, but after that we're going to be trying to fill our shelves and restart our brick and mortar operation. Our new bookstore will be a larger space with an entrance just off the alley behind the Museum of Neon Art. We're trying to recruit more volunteers so we can keep it open at least once, maybe twice a week. And meanwhile, we continue to run an active Amazon online bookstore operation because we have high-value donated books that we sell online. Book sales have traditionally been about half of our revenue stream, but as I just mentioned, we had to clear out our inventory and we had to close our bookstore to move it, so obviously retail proceeds are down. We're very grateful for the branch library sales, and in particular for the Pacific Park Branch Library, which just repurposed one of its rooms as a retail extension of our bookstore. Memberships have traditionally been the other half of our revenue stream. But as I just mentioned, we truly need to boost our membership numbers to make up with the lower book sales. Membership is not expensive. $20 per year is our starting point for regular members, $10 for seniors or students. And what we want to show is not necessarily income, but it's large numbers of Friends members, which in turn show that the library is important to this community. So, audience members and viewers, if the library system is important to you, please join the Friends. We'll send you a print or email newsletter. You can get involved as you wish, or you can just send in your annual renewals. You'll be helping us meet our annual budgetary commitment of $30,000 for library programs and services. We give that to the library for the Children's Summer Reading Program, for other branch programs, for author programs, for resource purposes, and for special needs. So a little more on our status. We're strengthening our partnership with other organizations. We appreciated the Commission on the Status of Women working with the library and with Brand Associates. This was back in 2014. You brought a screening of misrepresentation about the media's representation of women to the library, and you also brought Professor Caroline Heldman of Occidental College to a post-screening discussion. We hope to host future programs with you and with other partners. We are working with the Glendale Arts and Culture Commission, with Glendale Arts on a pop-up literary festival in October, so watch for more information about that. We also hope to work with the Glendale Unified School District and with Glendale Healthy Kids and its new community initiative, and with the new Glendale Library Foundation on programs that benefit our community. Our organization's goal is to make sure the library remains a great civic resource for everyone, including women and girls of all ages who can come to the library to learn about issues which affect them. All the free resources of the library are an essential element of our free society, and we hope every woman and girl listening takes full advantage of them, and every woman and girl in Glendale does as well. Finally, I'd like to thank Chair Linda Burns for her continuing service on our board and continuing service on the Commission board. And I thank the Commission for its 2015 report on the status of women and girls in Glendale. We received a copy for our organization, and I shared it with our board members in June. We also recommended that the Glendale Library include the report in its permanent collection. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Any of the commissioners would like to ask Elise anything? No, thank you so much.
I'll just add.
Good job.
Thank you very much. info@fogpl.org for any questions, and anyone who wants to join can pick up a membership application at any library branch or on our website, friendsofglendalepubliclibrary.org.
Elise, did you bring some applications with you?
I did not. I did not bring applications with me. But I will be happy to send a link to everybody present here. And if anyone can go to friendsofglendalepubliclibrary.org, they can join online. And if I could possibly get an invitation back at your next meeting, or actually the meeting after that in February, I can report on our updated status just before the Central Library reopens.
Thank you so very much, except, boy, you're in trouble.
Okay.
2 apps, right. Nothing
Thank you
at all.
anyway. Okay.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Is there anyone else who wishes to address the commission? No. Seeing no other speakers, this item is closed. Next item on the agenda, please.
At 4 is consent items. A is approval of the minutes of the regular commission meeting held on May 9th, 2016.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second?
I second.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Kajoyan,
Yes.
Commissioner Lambalot,
Yes.
Commissioner Magrin will abstain, Commissioner Perrion, and Chair Burns.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, please.
At 5 is business agenda. A, action items. 1 is Domestic Violence Awareness Month activities. At A is a motion approving the request to the Glendale City Council for proclamation of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And at B is a motion approving a partnership with the YWCA of Glendale for the annual Candlelight Vigil. Would you care for a brief report, Chair Burns?
I don't think we need one.
Okay.
Could we have a motion to deal with A, or can we deal with both of them at the same time? Commissioner Lambalot? Yes, I would.
I move to accept alternative 2 and alternative 3 to approve our participation in requesting a proclamation for October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. That's alternative 2, and alternative 3 to approve our participation in the Candlelight Vigil with the YWCA of Glendale.
I have a second for that.
Yes, I second that. Yeah.
Roll call, please.
1 second. Vice Chair Kajoyan,
Yes.
Commissioner Lambalot,
Yes.
Commissioner Magrin,
Yes.
Chair Burns.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda, please.
At 2 is consideration and discussion of recommendation to City Council to transfer the Commission on the Status of Women's Fund balance to the Community Foundation of the Verdugos. And at A is a motion providing direction regarding the transfer of $87,603.75.
This item is open for discussion. Commissioner Lambalot?
Yes, you're coming to me again. Is it alphabetical? I did read over this item carefully, and we had our presentation several months ago. And I was on the fence previously, but what it comes down to, and please, Christine, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems to me that if we accept alternative 1, which is transferring our total fund balance to the foundation as an endowed fund, we will have an annual spend rate of almost $4,000, given what we have, the balance we have now. And assuming that the average growth rate maintains, we'd be realizing that amount in interest. So to me, that seems like a very acceptable solution unless we wanted to spend more than that amount per year, which we haven't done of late. The other thing that I'm in favor of doing is having at least a set amount that we can spend, and I think it will facilitate us and inspire us to spend those funds and make our commission more well-known, and do the kind of good in the community we want. I just have one question for staff, or maybe for the foundation itself, and I don't recall this from the last meeting. If we do not use up the allowed or allocated funds during any given year, do they roll over?
Yes, Commissioner Lambalot, members of the commission, it does. And I failed to mention Edna Kurinsky, as you can see, is here she's the executive director of the foundation. She's here to answer any other questions that might come up that staff.
Would you like to come up, Edna?
But yes, it does roll over, so you're able to use them in the following year, should you not use them in that current year.
So if any of my statements are not correct, if you would let us know, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you again for providing me a time here to answer any questions you may have.
Edna, is there anything that Commissioner Lambalot said that needs to be corrected?
Absolutely not. I think Christine explained it. You can roll over as many years as you like, although we would like to encourage that you do utilize that fund, the money for the community. If at any point you would also like to use your available to spend, it's a simple matter of just letting us know in a written formality of what you would like, how you would like the funding issued. For instance, if you'd like to issue to several organizations, you can do that as well. Also, if at any point you would like to roll some of your available to spend back into your principal because you feel maybe it's growing year after year and you're not really using it, you can also roll that back into your principal.
Any other thoughts from commissioners? I think that I would like to ask the commission whether they'd be interested in holding $7,600 of the $87,006, holding it aside and putting in $80,000 as the endowment, because we're going to have a complete year without any funds at all if we turn over the entire $87,600 to the foundation. I absolutely think this is the very best thing we can do with our funds, but I think if we put 80 instead of 87.6, we would be sitting quietly with over 7,000 for the next year. And if something came along that we were very passionate about and wanted to make a donation of 500 or 1,000, we would have the money. We wouldn't have to say, well, wait till next year. I really believe
I
that
agree.
that's something that we should consider.
I agree with Chair Burns said. At least we can keep some money if there is another organization comes for help. For example, Kids for every year we help them, and we have
Really?
money that we can donate them, YWCA or other organization.
I agree with that as well. I think that's a good idea. And I know we didn't discuss the non-endowed option, but I think that in essence, penalties or the percentage rates that would be deducted are higher than we, I think, would want to incur, given that we're not using large sums of the money.
Just to clarify on that, on a non-endowed fund, the community foundation's rate would just be a 6% charge as that money went in, and subsequently after that, nothing. But you're right as to what you've just explained.
It seems to me we don't really gain anything from it.
Right.
Is there anything else that any of the other commissioners wish to ask Edna Krinsky?
No, it's clear.
How do we handle this with regard to a motion to...
Chair Burns, it sounds like we are looking at alternative 3, and we should specify the amount that we would like to recommend to council to transfer to the foundation. And then I don't think we need to make a motion to retain the balance of the $7,600. At this point, we'll be making a recommendation to transfer over $80,000.
And that would be the motion that we would work with right now?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be the motion that you are entertaining now.
All right.
Want me to make the motion?
Yes, would you please do that?
I make the motion transferring a portion of its fund balance to the Community Foundation of the Verdugo.
Second?
Second.
I'm
Number
sorry, just
3.
a point of clarification. Can we specify the amount
The
of the
amount,
motion?
The amount, yes.
Thank you.
80,000.
And you're seconding that?
Yes, I second that.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Kajoyan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambalot?
Yes.
Commissioner Magrin?
Yes.
Chair Burns?
Yes.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Motion passes.
Okay. Ms. Powers, where are we going next?
Next is item 3 is appointment and selection committee for the 2016-17 student ex officio members. And at A is a motion appointing 2 commissioners and 1 student ex officio to the selection committee. Would you care for a brief report, or is it?
I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
I'd be happy to read that again. At 3 is appointment of the selection committee for the 2016-17 student ex officio members, and at A is a motion appointing 2 commissioners and 1 student ex officio to the selection committee.
Yes, we'd like a brief report, please.
Be happy to. Chair Burns, members of the Commission on the Status of Women annually selects 2 student ex officio members to serve on the Commission for 1 year. We currently have Ms. Serrano and Ms. Kim, who've been serving us for the past year. And this is done via a selection committee of 2 commissioners. This provides the Commission the ability to interview students and go through applications without having to have an agendized meeting that is televised, because that would be a little bit stressful for the students. Do this on camera in live TV. So, and for the past few years, we've had a current student ex officio sit in and help provide insight on the selection committee. Having gone through the year themselves, it's provided some refreshing feedback for the commissioners. The way we did this prior, when we had monthly meetings, was there would be a selection committee chosen by the commission. That selection committee would review applications, interview the students, come back to the following meeting, make the recommendation to the commission of who to select. The commission would approve that recommendation, and then the new students would start at the following meeting. So this would be like a 3-month process. given that we're in a quarter system, this report is asking that you grant this committee that you select today the authority to select and appoint the 2 students to the commission so that they can start at the November meeting.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners wish to volunteer?
Chair Burns, may I speak?
Yes, certainly.
I'd be happy to volunteer, but I also had a question. Given that our student ex officios are going off to college, my question to them is, do you want to participate, or would you be too busy starting your new college careers?
For me, I would be willing to volunteer to be part of the selection committee, but do you think it would require a lot of in-person meetings for this? No? Okay. Then I would be willing to volunteer to be a part of it.
I'd be willing to volunteer as well.
Oh my.
There's no limitation on the students because they're not voting members.
Yes.
They're not actual commissioners, so there's no violation of having more than 1 student.
Well, we now have 2 ex officios, and we need 2 commissioners. Yes, you would be.
Yes, I will volunteer.
Thank you. And
I'm happy to volunteer.
Okay. Do I have to vote on that now?
Now we need a motion.
All right, please, a motion. Diane?
I make a motion, I guess it's alternative number 4, to appoint 2 commissioners and both student ex officios to the commission, to the ad hoc committee.
Second.
Yes, I second.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Kajayan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambalot?
Yes.
Commissioner Magrin?
Yes.
Chair Burns?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Motion passes. And just, if I may, the timeline, now that school has started, it's a good time. Doing this in the summer it doesn't work out as well. So now that school has started, you have the sample application and cover letter and flyer. This will be distributed to our local service organizations, local nonprofits, of course the schools, both public and private, and we'll give the students a good 1-month period. So probably sometime in September is when we can start the interview process and give commissioners, the selection committee, time to review the applications, figure out who you want to interview. Most of the time we interview all the students, and then make that selection and then get them oriented in time to start for November.
Ms. Powers, does staff take care of that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item.
Yes, please, the next item.
At 4 is consideration and discussion of ad hoc committees to support the 2015-18 Commission on the Status of Women Strategic Plan, and at A is a motion to establish ad hoc committees. Would you care for a brief report, Chair?
Yes,
Burns?
please.
The Commission created ad hoc committees 1 year ago to support its 2015-18 strategic plan, and there were 4 ad hoc committees which are outlined in your report, and it also indicates who currently serves on these committees. At this time, staff recommends closing ad hoc committee 1, which focused on the report on the status of women and girls, since that committee has accomplished its goal. And staff also recommends closing ad hoc committee 4, which focuses on CSW finances, as the commission just took action this evening to take care of that. And the commission may choose to keep the other 2 ad hoc committees as is, reassign members, change the scope, add other ad hocs, take one away. Really, at this point, it's up for consideration and discussion, so I leave it to you.
Thank you. We're looking at ad hoc committee number 2, education and outreach. That would be the current members are
Me and Diana.
thank you, and Regina. And committee 3, ad hoc committee 3, the community partnerships. One, I don't know where we fit in here, but each one of the commissioners, obviously, as they go out into the community, They meet someone, they start to talk about the report, they realize that this person, the CEO might have received the report, but it hasn't filtered down to a level of the person that the commissioner is speaking to. And at this point, I've 3 or 4 or 5 times called Christine and had her send a report to the particular person with the cover letter. Which, does that fall into ad hoc committee 2, ad hoc committee 3, or is that something all of us should be doing?
Absolutely, Chair Burns, members of the commission, that is something that as commissioners, you're out there, you're, making sure the community is aware of the good work that the commission's doing and furthering the education and outreach. That kind of thing is open to all of you. I don't think it strictly belongs to an ad hoc committee. I think maybe an ad hoc committee can coordinate specific education and outreach agendas, but something like what you're describing is something all the commissioners could use.
So which ad hoc committee will be that? No?
It just would. This
Just
is just
anybody. Yeah. Okay.
This belongs to us all. This particular thing belongs to us all. But then we're looking at 2 education and outreach and 3 community partnerships. And I'd like discussion from the commissioners on this.
This one, I guess we met many times, me and Diana and Christine. We discussed about the presentation and also to recognize women in our community. Still, we need to meet again because it was 2 months ago. I guess we met.
Are you talking about
to add?
2?
Yes, number 2.
Okay.
Chair Burns, may I speak? First of all, I had a question. Am I correct, Ms. Powers, in understanding that only 2 commissioners can be on an ad hoc committee,
Yes,
so we don't have the quorum issue?
Okay.
So my question is, given our new commissioner, I'd like to say you should have first choice, in my view, if Chair Burns agrees, if you're interested in either one of these committees, because I think it's fine to switch around members.
Yes,
so I think
agree.
if you're interested in one of them. The other thought I had is we could have a third ad hoc committee based just on the Mount St. Mary's report, but I think you're right that we should each be doing outreach and, hopefully, getting our faces out there in the community and that sort of thing. So I think that, unless there's need for a third one, these suffice, or we could break up the Education and Outreach Committee into 2.
I agree with you. Maybe on this educational and outreach, maybe Alina and Arian, they can get involved in this one, the first one.
You mean committee,
Yes.
ad hoc committee 2?
Education and outreach.
Education
because,
and outreach.
as you
Would
said,
be
something
all right
new
with that
for
one?
them.
Yes, I would love.
And Armine, since she isn't here, we get to volunteer her?
Just a point of clarification, Chairman. At any time throughout the year, if the commission feels there's a need for a new committee, also create a new committee at your upcoming meeting or call a meeting to create an ad hoc committee. But certainly taking education and outreach and maybe having one ad hoc committee focused perhaps on Camp Rosie or on the new system of recognizing women is certainly something that can be done. But other ad hoc committees, as they naturally, the need rises for them, it's within your prerogative to create those.
It's my understanding they're not cast in concrete.
No.
These are coming and going committees. And did you wish to say something, Commissioner Lambola?
Yes. I think a third ad hoc committee would make sense because otherwise there will be one commissioner not on an ad hoc committee since we only have 2. I would propose, if the commission and Chair Burns agrees, to create an ad hoc committee to focus on Camp Rosie and not Camp Rosie per se, but Camp Rosie-like activities and explore those. And I would be willing to serve on that.
Activities with regard to us doing them?
No, with regard to us finding a partner in the community to do it. Because ideas have been floated, have come and gone. We know we're not holding the traditional Camp Rosie. We know that's not happening. But I think a focus on it before it's gone altogether would be something I'd be interested in.
I would be happy to serve with you on that committee, because I know that there's been discussion by you to one of the executive board member at the YWCA, or how far has that gotten?
There was a mention of it, and then at our last meeting, there was consideration, if I remember correctly. I think Ms. Powers brought up the fact they may be considering it next year, but there was no ability to do it this year. And then there was a one-day workshop that might happen in La Crescenta that did not happen. I think the point would be to try to pursue those and see which ones, if any of them, are viable, but to have a focus on it.
Do we need a motion to make a third ad hoc committee?
Yes, we would need a motion to create the third ad hoc committee, and then we would also need a motion appointing each of the commissioners to one of the ad hoc committees.
May I make that, or?
If you do, then you'd have to pass the gavel.
All right, well, Commissioner Kajoyan, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion to create another ad hoc committee. We are going to separate them, like for education separate and outreach separate.
If I understand it, you're now looking to make a motion to create an ad hoc committee that explores Camp Rosie type of programs. If that's your intended motion, that would need a second.
Okay, I will make motion for Camp Rosie to have an ad hoc committee, yeah.
And I'll second that.
It would probably be best to take a vote on that first.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Kajayan?
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
Commissioner Lambolat?
Yes.
Commissioner Magrin?
Yes.
Chair Burns?
Yes. And do we need to name the commissioners that are serving on that ad hoc committee?
And you may want to do that wholesale. So if I heard correctly, I understand both you, Chair Burns, and Commissioner Lambolat want to serve on that particular committee, and then the second committee being the Education and Outreach, and that would be continuing with Commissioner Kajoyan and adding Commissioner Magrin, and then the third ad hoc, leaving it as is with Chair Burns and Commissioner Perrion as the members of each. And then we just want to keep in mind that when our students are appointed, we may want to bring this item back and allow them the opportunity to express their interest. But if I don't think we need it.
Could we define those again? Who would be on the Education and Outreach? Seda and Eileen.
Correct.
Period.
As I understood, we can make some changes later.
Yes,
okay.
We can. And then what about who is on the community partnerships?
There wasn't much discussion on that, but the current commissioners who serve on that are Chair Burns, yourself, and Commissioner Perrion.
Do we need to keep that?
I don't know. Shall we talk about that? Building alliances, collaborating with the community to improve the status. I think the last would be ensure that local organizations are aware of and are utilizing the resources of the. So I think it does. Community partnerships. Ad hoc committee 3 needs to stay, but it would be 2, right? And just change it from ad hoc committee 1, education and outreach, ad hoc committee 2, community and partnerships, with myself and Armene, and ad hoc committee 3, Camp Rosie, with Commissioner Lambalot and myself. Do we need
Need a motion for that.
Diane?
I make a motion to populate the ad hoc committees as follows. Ad hoc committee formerly 2, which I think will now be 1, will be Commissioner Kojai and Commissioner Magrin. Ad hoc committee formerly 3, which will now be 2, will be Chair Burns and Commissioner Perrion. And ad hoc committee 3, which would be a new committee on Camp Rosie type activities, would consist of Commissioner Burns and myself, Commissioner Lambalot.
Have a second for that?
Yes.
Second?
Yes, I second.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Kwajayan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambalot?
Yes.
Commissioner Magrin?
Yes.
Chair Burns?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Next item on the agenda, please.
And at 5 is consideration and discussion of a reception for the Commission on the Status of Women's 2015-16 report on the status of women and girls, and at A is a motion providing direction regarding this event. Would you care for a brief report, or?
First of all, I would like to know, have all the commissioners read this particular idea? Yes, we'll go ahead with a brief report.
Okay, sure. Chair Burns, members of the Commission, earlier this year, the CSW released its 2015-16 report on the status of women and girls, and since its release, presentations have been made to different community groups to inform them of the findings, and will continue to do so as opportunities arise. At the request of Chair Burns, this item requests a consideration of a reception hosted by the Commission to announce the report to the community at large and to help raise awareness for the status of women and girls in Glendale. It's been suggested that the event be held in the afternoon or early evening in the main lobby of City Hall, located at 613 East Broadway in Glendale, here downstairs. And the reception would include key opening remarks by the CSW and Glendale officials and provide attendees with key findings of the report. At this point, it's open for the Commission to consider whether or not you'd like to do this event, and if so, you're welcome to select a date now or select from a group of dates and have staff check. Not necessarily availability. The availability of the lobby is included in the report, but maybe make sure that there aren't major events happening. I have a copy of calendar for council members as far as it's been updated at this point as we receive invitations, but understanding that there's probably things that are going to be coming up that are probably already organized that haven't made their way to the council's attention yet.
May I have Commissioner ideas and thoughts on this particular motion?
Chair Burns, I'd also just like to let the record reflect that I apologize that Commissioner Perrion has joined us, so thank you so much.
Discussion, please, on this item.
May I speak, Chair Burns?
Certainly.
I don't think that there's any downside, certainly, to this reception. There's no fiscal impact on us. Anything that I think raises our profile is a good idea. As far as the date, I'd just like to mention, and I will address this at the end of the meeting in informational remarks, September 22nd is the date that the report on the status of women and girls will be presented at the Seroptimus of Glendale luncheon at noon. So since this is later in the day, that may or may not be a benefit. My first reaction was that we wouldn't want to have it on that day. On the other hand, maybe we generate some interest. So that I just wanted to make that comment.
I'll be out of town on the 22nd of September. I would prefer to be here for that, so I would like to look at sometime in October. I think there's so many things going on right now into that September. I'd like to see something in October. And it would be prior to our next meeting, which is November. And I don't think it's too far away from the report many people aren't aware of this report. It's new to a lot of people. Eileen, Commissioner Eileen.
I think October would be great, since if we're having the event in September and you're out of town, I think it's vital to have you as a chair here, there present, and I would like to support and help in whatever we need to facilitate and get the word out. I work with different organizations, and my position is I'm out there all the time with different newspaper writers, so we can publicize it. I think we need plenty of time to let the community know that we're having and hosting, and not rush into holding it. So,
would you be interested in chairing that reception?
I would love to.
And who would be interested in being the helpers for the reception? Amine? That would be good.
Perfect.
And Diane?
You probably, Chair Burns, you probably just want no more than 2.
Why?
Because then you'd have to schedule Brown Acted meetings.
Oh, well then.
2 of them.
The chair and the vice chair of the reception.
Okay, perfect.
There's the 2 of us, or the 2 of them. That's good.
Now, are we deciding on a date now?
We may, if you'd like to discuss
You are
that.
welcome to decide on a date, or if you want to set parameters, like you'd like to have it in the afternoon, early evening, weekday, weekend, things like that, and then perhaps staff can work with Commissioners Magrin and Perrion to propose some dates, and then just make sure that all the commissioners are available.
Commissioner could join.
I will be out of country from September 11 until October 30th.
So you're not going to be here, period.
No, in November I will be here.
November's taking you into Thanksgiving.
November 1st or anyway. Let's see which one is good time for. Other commissioners are here for.
Personally, I think thinking about the timing of it, say 5 to 7 if we're using the City Hall Rotunda, might be a nice time. There would be staff coming through, but it's convenient for most of the staff that would be invited to the reception. I think if we tried to have it at lunch or in the afternoon, we might run into some problems there. What do you think of that, Chair?
I think 5:30 would be good. As you said, a lot of people are leaving work, and that'd be a convenient time before they head home.
Ms. Powers, what day of the week is October 27th, which is one of the available dates?
I believe these are dates that are not available.
Oh.
These are the only
Not
dates
available, okay.
These are the dates that, I apologize, these are the dates that are not available.
Okay.
So City Hall lobby is available, but there might be other events going on as we get closer to October that may or may not affect. So we're welcome to, like I said, pin down a date now, or leave it open and try to pick a date as we get a little, not too much closer, but a little bit closer.
If you're heading up this reception, would you prefer to think about this and talk about it with Ms. Powers prior to setting a date and dealing with October?
You could do that.
October?
Yeah.
Oh, we're looking into the fall, and you might be able to have some decoration that would pull in the.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, Thanksgiving's November.
So
the idea is we'll wait and discuss that.
just a question to clarify. We're looking at strictly October, or is there an opportunity to look at early November as well, or is that not something that the commission? Your mic, sorry. If you could repeat that, please.
I'm sorry. The first couple weeks of November may not work for me. I would actually prefer the first couple weeks of October. I think it would be better because the closer we get to Halloween, it does get a little more hectic.
I agree.
We do not need to decide on a date or a time right this minute, but I would say that it should be decided quickly. With that, and would you be available, or you're going to be gone and you wouldn't be able to be around?
I'll be off to college, but possibly if it was a Friday, I'd be able to attend.
Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be available for this event. It'll be hard to fly in just for...
Where are you going?
Up north for Berkeley.
Oh, Berkeley.
Yeah.
Is that going to be law school eventually?
Yeah, that's my plan for now. I'm really excited.
Yes, I had a feeling that that would be it. And you are going where?
I'll be attending CSUN this fall, so I'll be commuting. So I'll still be in Glendale, where I love to be.
That's good. So you have one of our student exhibit shows available. And you might decide to come down from Berkeley sometime during the fall. We need anything more, Ms. Powers?
A motion?
I think to the extent that you've appointed individuals to head the event and that you've decided to do it, then yes. You need a motion.
May I have a motion, please? Go ahead.
Want to go ahead?
Yeah. I motion to move this forward.
With having Commissioners Magrin as the chair of the event and Commissioner Perrion as the vice chair. And I think specifically you're looking at a date sometime in October,
right,
to hold an event in the City Hall lobby sometime in the evening. That was not a very eloquent motion, but it was sort of like a...
Sounds pretty good.
Well, thank you. It was,
I think we captured all of the different
me. Thank you.
Second?
I second it.
Roll call, please.
Vice Chair Kojayan?
Yes.
Commissioner Lambalot?
Yes.
Commissioner Magrin?
Yes.
Commissioner Perrion?
Yes.
Chair Burns?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next item, please.
At B is reports information only, and the first item is a legislative update. Would you care for a brief report, Chair Burns?
Yes, please.
So this report provides the Commission with a quarterly legislative update of the bills being tracked based on the Commission's adopted legislative platform. Legislature has been on summer recess and recently reconvened on August 1st. The last day for each House to pass bills is August 31st, with the final recess beginning upon adjournment. And then the Governor has until September 30th to sign or veto any bills passed by legislature, and that will conclude the two-year legislative cycle. They will then reconvene in January 2017 for a new legislative session. And so at the following meeting, staff will report the final disposition of the bills that the Commission took a position on. And then in February, there will be a whole new list of bills once legislature reconvenes so you can look through all the new bills that are popping up next year and make recommendations to Council to take positions. Since our last report, the most significant things to note are that SB 1166, Senator Jackson's parental leave bill, is dead. This bill would have prohibited an employer from refusing to allow an employee with more than 12 months of service with the employer to take up to 12 weeks of parental leave to bond with a new child within 1 year of the child's birth, adoption, or foster care placement. And it would have also prohibited an employer from refusing to maintain and pay for coverage under a group health plan for an employee who would take this leave. So that bill died. Also, the other thing to note is that in the last legislative report, we reported that the California Legislative Women's Caucus had written a letter to the governor to address the lack of access to quality, affordable child care. The caucus had asked the governor for $800 million in the 2016-17 budget, and the governor appropriated $500 million to go over 5 years. And that concludes that report. If you have any questions.
Are there any questions with regard to Ms. Powers' report? Next item on the agenda, please.
At 2 is the ACCW update, and that's an oral report that would be provided by Vice Chair Kajoyan, who serves as the representative for the Glendale Commission on the Status of Women.
Okay. Would you be able to provide us with a brief report?
Yes.
Thank you.
I would like to say that I didn't receive the minutes because it was not ready, but when I receive, I will email each one of you. As you know, that Saturday, June 25th, I attended ACCW annual meeting, which took place at Loyola Law School. More than 10 CSW and more than 40 commissioners attended that annual meeting. And it was Los Angeles County Commission of Women, City of Los Angeles Commission on the Status of Women, City of Glendale, City of Pasadena, Santa Monica, San Diego County, Santa Barbara County, Santa Clara County, St. Louis Obispo County. Welcoming remarks was given by LA County Board of Supervisors, Ms. Alice Bedrosian. At the same time, she was vice chair, but now I think she's the chair of LA County Commission on the Status of Women, because Mr. Garcetti couldn't attend it, so on behalf Ms. Alice Bedrosian gave the welcoming remarks. She introduced the board members, and also they presented their 2016 report.
Thank you.
I can have one of those. Yeah. And if you can see, this report is excellent report. They partnership with Mount St. Mary's University, and it cost them $5,000, and $1,000 they got donations. And it's explained very informative information. You can see that. And also, meantime, she mentioned that 3 times a month they host a breakfast to the shelter. In LA County, there's 20 shelters, and they make sure that each time one of the LA County Board of Supervisors will attend. And as you know, that there's 5 supervisors, 2 of them are women in LA County. After that, the chair of ASCCW, Susanna Doty, she called the meeting in order, and they start reading and discussing the agenda, and also nomination for their new executive. After that, she introduced the executive members. I would like to say congratulations to Commissioner Diana. She's the treasurer of ACCW.
Thank you.
Then each of the CSW, they presented their report, overview report of their yearly for 2016. And meantime, also I presented our report to commissioners. As I would like to say also, Pasadena, they mentioned that they have the survivor guide. As we mentioned a few minutes ago about the reception, this is every 2 years they make this survivor guide as a forum, and they invite the media, and they present. This is another skeleton for vehicle for what their Commission on Status of Women in Pasadena they can do. Also, I would like to say there was an excellent speaker, Ms. Betsy Butler, Executive Director of California Women's Law Center. She presented the report on the aging and poverty in California. They show short film, and they interview 4 women from different ethnic group, and they talk about their difficulties of life and barely they making the month end and insurance. So there was a big discussion, almost took 1 hour, that discussion. Overall, I will say the consensus that all commissioner concerned ones, how we can make difference in the life of our women in our community. And all of them, they have one goal, how to defend women's rights. And I would like to thank you, Ms. Christine, for your hard work that you helped me put together more than 50 reports and all the guides I took with me. And I would like to thank you all, Commissioners, that give me opportunity to attend this annual meeting. And it was a good experience to see all this women experience, and all of them, they were very concerned about women's issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, please.
Excuse me. At 6 is Commissioner and staff comments.
Well, we will start, I guess, with the commission comments? Would you like to start, madam?
Because I know that this will be both me and Regina's final meeting, I just wanted to take this time to thank you all for this wonderful opportunity to be part of such an amazing committee. I've been so well informed and educated, and I know I wouldn't have been able to get this information if it wasn't for being a part of this committee. I truly had no idea just how many organizations are out there, but I'm glad to know that they exist, and just knowing that all of them network together to truly make a difference in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline.
Well, first, I'd like to wish both ex officios, I'm sorry if this was done in the beginning, but I wish both of you, Serrano and Kim, all the best in your college years and beyond. And I'm sorry I was late, but I want to personally welcome you to the commission, Dr. Macron. And as far as events, want to mention that I did attend the YWCA, where Christine Powers presented the report to the board at the YWCA a couple of weeks ago. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it me?
Mr. Magrin?
First of all, I would like to congratulate both of you, Berkeley and Northridge, correct? That's what I heard. Both amazing schools. It's just amazing. I work in education to see students that are leaders, and you see them at that age and that they're developing and growing and reaching out to their community. So thank you for your support. I wasn't here, but I'm sure you've done great. Wish you well in your future. And also, I want to thank this commission for allowing me to be part of your amazing team. I'm very excited and thrilled to be part of your commission and excited about all the opportunities that we can bring to the community. And I also attended the YWCA event where Ms. Christine was presenting, and I think it was very informative. And I saw some board members that I already knew, and I worked in the community. So it's great to be here, and thank you.
Thank you. Regina Kim?
I'd like to start by also welcoming Commissioner Magrin to the commission, and just thank you for your service for our schools, because it's actually through my counseling office that I found out about this position, and she introduced me to it, and that's how I applied for it. And it's really been just one of the ways that the schools have affected my life. And also, I just look forward to being on the selection committee. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to continue my involvement in this commission even after my year is over and my involvement is over. And it's really been an honor to be on this commission with all of you. And it's inspiring to see all of your involvement in the community. And I hope to follow in your footsteps in the future. And just lastly, I just wanted to share that I do have aspirations to go to law school and eventually become a public servant. And just this experience has shown me how invaluable local government is and how much influence and change it can affect. So thank you so much.
Commissioner Lambolat.
I'd like to say congratulations to both student ex officios. They're obviously very well accomplished. I do not believe in saying the term, I am proud of you, but I think, because I think it has a certain, sends a message that I don't like. Instead, what I like to say is you should be very proud of yourselves. And you're obviously very impressive young people, and I'm sure you'll do very well. And law school is a very interesting choice, and I'm happy to talk about it anytime you want. And I also wanted to, Chair Burns is now my opportunity to bring up the Seroptimus event.
I believe that if you don't, you won't have another.
Okay. I just wanted to mention, as I alluded to earlier, on September 22nd, the Seroptimus International of Glendale chapter is holding its programming meeting at Oakmont Country Club at noon. And the program for that day will be the presentation of the report on the status of women and girls. And there is a luncheon. There is a cost for it. It's $28 a person, but in complimentary valet parking. So you just need to get in touch with one of the Seroptimus members. Commissioner Kajayan and I are both members, and we can make sure you get the relevant information. And I'd also like to expand upon what Chair Burns said about the fact that the report belongs to all of us. And I think that we all should be very proud of it. And to the extent, I think Ms. Powers has done a terrific job of presenting, and I appreciate that you've taken evenings and other times away to present it, to present the report. And I think that those of us, since we're the face of the commission, and we want to be out there and known, I think to the extent that any of us are willing and able to present, there should be no pressure, but I think that we should do so, and we could even split up the presentation. If somebody doesn't like public speaking, you could do 1 or 2 slides, something along those ends. But I think that it's great to get it out there. This is our vehicle for getting us out there.
Question about it.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Kajoyan, no, it's not.
I would like to congratulate you and say welcome.
Thank you.
To the Commission, to City of Glendale Commission on the Status of Women. After hearing all your experience, I think all of us together we can reach our goals. And also wishing you both good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Before I start, I wanted to make sure everyone on this dais was receiving the City Connection that came from us, that comes from Scott Ochoa, the City Manager. www.glendaleca.gov, and the first or second day of each month, Scott puts out the City Connections. It's invaluable because it tells, it lists almost everything that's happening in the city with regard to government and also other groups. I would imagine that, for example, the reception's going to be
correct
in that, and it'll roll on Channel 6 also. So that would be, once again, www.glendaleca.gov for Scott Ochoa's City Connections. And since we haven't met for 3 months, kind of strange to, like, who are you? You're doing terrific. Are you feeling all right now?
I am okay.
Good. Well, we all went to cruise night, National Night Out, Glendale Police Department and Glendale Fire Department. I want to talk about Regina and Pauline at the end, but thank you, Edna, very much for coming over and giving us all the information we needed. You mentioned the YWCA board hearing the report, and I think every one of the board members was mesmerized by the information on this report. This report was quite surprising in a lot of ways to a lot of people, and while this was an impressive thing that the city of Los Angeles gave us, I think Glendale had much more substance. Thank you. Yeah. Now, the YWCA is having a meet and greet on September the 7th. They're going to introduce Tara Peterson, their new executive director, at the Alex. And I believe it's sometime early evening. And then we also know that Glendale Library has put 10 of our reports in their libraries, and I think that's quite an honor. And on August 18th, there's a really wonderful bereavement gala. Adventist Hospital is honoring, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, but she's established the bereavement groups and classes for 25 years at Adventist. And if you need any information about the gala, Bruce Nelson, 409-8008. I think now we come to Regina Kim. The City of Glendale recognizes Regina Kim, Student Ex Officio 2015-16, with gratitude for your outstanding service to the Commission on the Status of Women, August 8th, 2016. There we go. Welcome. Thank you. Pauline Serrano, student ex officio. With gratitude for your outstanding service to the Commission on the Status of Women, August 8, 2016. Congratulations, Pauline. You're very welcome to come and visit us again. Don't be a stranger. Are there any staff comments?
No, just welcome to our new Commissioner Magrid. Look forward to working with you, and wishing Pauline and Regina all the best in your great new adventure that you're going to start.
She's not here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Would you like a motion to adjourn?
Yes, could I have a motion to adjourn? I can't see the clock, so I don't know what time it is.
7.
Oh, is it 7?
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting, 7 p.m. sharp.
So adjourned.